Severe storms that will be happening today. Also, we'll be talking about what has happened with Hurricane Lala, which is now Tropical Storm Lala, what's happening there, and what we could continue for the next few hours or so, or even the next few rather portions of the day, and see what's happening there. My name is Mike. We're here to give you an update on the latest. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get right into it. So today, we do have a slight risk of severe weather that's happening across areas of the country today. Washington into areas of Virginia Beach into Roanoke into areas of southeast of Indianapolis. Of course, Denver, you have that slight risk of severe weather. Tomorrow we're going to have a slight risk of severe weather around Charlotte. This is going to be areas of Knoxville and Raleigh. As you get to areas north of Kearney and Sioux Falls, you're going to be under that slight risk. And for your day three, slight risk around Kansas City, around the middle parts of the country. So we've got to look at that marginal risk surrounding that slight risk. And then you have the probabilistic, which we don't know yet. So let's break it down today. Our tornado risk today going to be for areas of Washington, Virginia Beach into Roanoke, Pittsburgh. I don't know if we're going to have a tornado watch in this area if we don't have it already, but it's definitely possible, although it is only 2% chance of tornadoes today, but still that's on the table. Wind threat going to be scattered across this area as well as the Denver area, but mainly along areas of Indianapolis to Virginia Beach. You're going to have your wind threat there. For your hail threat, going to be mainly around Denver, not going to be for the eastern and mid-Atlantic parts of the United States. Now, for your Monday, we looked at this threat right here that's going to be in areas of the south and areas of the middle parts of the country. I'll start with the middle parts and then get to areas of the south. So you do have a slight risk here near Sioux Falls. Tornado risk is going to be in this area, and then the wind threat is going to be in this area too with the hail threat. So that's something we got to look out for. Now, for this area in the southeastern United States, for areas here, no tornado threat. We are going to have a wind threat for Chattanooga, Greenville, Charlotte, Raleigh, Winston-Salem, Asheville, Johnson City, and Knoxville, but no hail threat will be in effect for this area, so that's a good thing that we're not going to see the hail threat or the tornadoes in this region. But back to our outlook for today, I am going to be watching this area from Washington to Richmond to areas of Virginia Beach for the favorability of tornadoes. So in Virginia Beach, you're not in that, but west of Virginia Beach, I'm going to be watching this area for the possibility of tornadoes, so make sure you're weather aware and things like that of that nature, so we can be prepared for these alerts and things like that of that nature. So here's a look at your temperatures of what's going on out there. And this is going to be the 14Z of the HRRR model. So as you can see throughout the day, we are going to be expecting some hot temperatures that'll be popping up throughout today. HRRR is saying we're going to get hot, but not going to be as hot as the other days that we've had lately, and that's a good thing. We're still going to see things like 103 in Dallas, going to be seeing 102 in Oklahoma City. So still we have to watch out for those hot temperatures. Some areas, isolated spots will be up to 100, but the heat indexes will be well above 100 degrees. Your weather prediction center here. We talked about the heat being mainly consistent around the southern parts of the United States. Now, you do have your winter that's going to be in effect for these areas. West of Washington, you're going to have a moderate risk of wind. This is going to be around Beckley and Morgantown. You're going to have a moderate risk. South of Denver, you're going to have a slight risk. For your day two outlook, we are going to have some isolated spots of marginal risk of flooding in the Midwest for your day three. Slight risk, marginal risk on your day four, and then your day five, you're going to have marginal risk in some spots too. So it's going to be sort of this heavy flooding on one day, heavy flooding on another day. Now for the tropics, we're going to do the Atlantic. The systems that we were talking about are gone. The wind shear and things like that of that nature, they're just not in these sections. I keep looking at the tropics just in case, but as you can see here, this is what's happening here near Hawaii, and we were looking for that potential of that landfall, and we did not get direct landfall. But let me show you what the storm actually did. This storm was literally, the eye was literally right here, so the storm almost made direct landfall and broke its 155 record on this island here, but it in fact moved at a west-northwest, going to continue that westerly track, and it did not make landfall there. We're still expecting to become a hurricane again as it turns out towards this direction, but still we have a tropical storm giving us some tropical impacts for areas of Hawaii. Now, as you can see here, we do have our areas of development. 50% of this is going to be a medium. Our El Nino going to be having that favorability of those storms will continue across multiple areas around the Pacific. 50% for Atlantic disturbance 1 and 2. So this is about the same thing, sort of almost the same shape of a system there. So that's an area we're looking out for in that region as well. So now as far as our, let's see, our alerts from the National Hurricane, not National Hurricane Center, National Weather Service, you can see heat advisories remain for multiple areas across the central parts of the country. We talked about this mainly southern areas from Dallas to Charlotte, even down south to Florida to areas of Miami. The whole entire state of Florida under heat advisory except for the Florida Keys. And that's going to continue for areas all the way, the entire state of Alabama, the central part of Alabama, having that extreme heat warning that's out of the National Weather Service, I think in Birmingham, Alabama. Could be Birmingham, Montgomery. I think it's out of NWS. Birmingham. I think that's the National Weather Service in Birmingham, if I'm wrong there. But heat advisories in effect for multiple areas across the South. Extreme heat warnings will persist for multiple areas in the central parts of the country around the Mississippi River as well. Flood watches and flash flood warnings in effect all over the place. I'm going to show you this radar here in a second, but we have been getting a lot of flooding in the Midwest, continuous flooding over and over. You can see the flood watches, you can see the flash flood warnings, flood advisories, etc. So we're going to be expecting so much flooding in these areas. Flood watches in effect south of Denver as well. You do have your, I think that's an extreme heat warning. No red flag warnings today. That's interesting. No red flag warnings today as of right now. Air quality alerts in effect near the Seattle region as well in the northwestern parts of the country, but no red flag warnings today. That's interesting. So if we look at the radar here, we're going to look at the national radar, and as you can see, showers and thunderstorms in multiple parts of the country here. Severe thunderstorm warning south of Detroit. Flash flood warnings in effect. We're going to continue to see these rain bands, and then in the afternoon in the south as well, you're going to get that afternoon convection, because this is one thing that I do want you guys to know. So I know sometimes I skip over this, but when I go to the Storm Prediction Center here, you see this light green color. This light green color everywhere is still shower and thunderstorm. Anywhere in that region can get shower and thunderstorm activity. That's that highlighted area with that afternoon convection. Of course, we're going to see those strong summer type of storm, shower and thunderstorm activity. So that light green area, for instance, around Charleston and Columbia that you see there, Tallahassee, Jacksonville, shower and thunderstorm activity is still possible in these regions. It's just not highlighted on the severe scale, but it's still, you could expect showers and thunderstorms in that area at any given time. Not saying it'll guarantee. Some people will get showers and thunderstorms. Some people will. Some people in the same town will get a storm on one side, and some people won't. It's just how summer is, half and half, and you know how weather can get. So half of a town could get a strong storm. The other half could be completely dry and sunny. So that's something that we could see there. Now for our radar, we're going to look at around Hawaii, and we're going to try to get the radar here of what's going on around Honolulu, because the storm is near Honolulu at this point. See? Okay, there we go. We have that. This is going to be the eye of the storm. We're going to get the radar here. This is near Honolulu, Hawaii. As you can see, a flash flood warning is there. And we actually had a lot of flash flood warnings. We still have a flash flood warning here for the island, expected to expire 1 p.m. I'm not sure if that's 1 p.m. Hawaiian time or that's 1 p.m. of Eastern time, but that is going to expire there. You also have your flash flood warning in effect for 1:30 p.m. This is at 1. Okay, so I think it is Eastern time, so 1 p.m. Eastern time that these warnings are going to expire. But to be honest, that flash flood warning is probably going to persist as you have these heavy bands of rain moving into the areas of Honolulu. We're going to continue to expect them into multiple areas. A lot of rotation that's happening here, and the cone is going to continue to track westward. So this storm is going to travel very close to the Hawaiian Islands. Not direct landfall, though, and that's just something we got to look out for. We do have some tropical storm warnings that are in effect here for areas of Honolulu and things like that of that nature. All of the Hawaiian Islands pretty much under those tropical storm warnings, as the storm is basically just near this area of Hawaii, and with the northeastern sort of side of this storm, you're going to get the shower and thunderstorm activity, the heavy rain bands, the wind that is with the storm. The tropical storm warning is still in effect here because we do have the tropical storm underway, and those winds are still possible as it gets farther away. It was a hurricane warning in effect, but that storm has now downgraded tropical storm conditions. Last night it actually strengthened to 80 miles per hour, so it was a stronger hurricane last night, but as we get into this morning for Hawaii, that storm has sort of downgraded what was initially going on there. So, and there was actually some footage. I saw this that the hurricane came through. You had rain, and within the mountains that were there, the rain from the hurricane, it was so cold on the mountains, we had snow during a hurricane, and I believe this was in the Big Island of Hawaii. So you do have that snow that was accumulating about, I'd say, around maybe 8 inches, give or take, in that area. So that was actually interesting to see that you got snow during a hurricane. That was quite interesting to see. So, snow during a hurricane in the mountains, it's something you don't see all the time. And that's what we got here within Hawaii. But we're going to look at some impacts from the National Hurricane Center here, see what the wind speeds and things like that of that nature. Floating a bit slow here, but as you can see here, we're still expecting 1 to 2 feet of storm surge that is possible. This is from the National Hurricane Center here. Up to 2 feet in some areas. Something we definitely got to watch out for. Flooding will be persistent in multiple areas of this. So we have the tropical force winds that are possible along these areas. Although we're not getting the direct impact, we could still expect tropical storm conditions well into the islands of Hawaii. All of the islands essentially getting affected by this storm somehow. You have the storm surge, you have the heavy bands of rain, flash flooding that is accumulated with this hurricane. So my name is Michael, here to give you an update on the latest. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this with a person you know. I'll see you out there in the weather community. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and I'll see you out there in the weather community.